Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Propagandacast straight from the Propaganda Ministry here in Denmark with me, ImperialDane, and today I have for you a 1 vs 1 on Egletons. Yes, indeed. We'll be having another look at this map, and of course a match on it, and who shall be facing each other. Well, in the northern corner, we shall be seeing AspoCZ. That's, yes, a highly clever name, but there we go. 272nd Grenadier Division. I'm ready to fight for the fatherland, and who shall they be opposing? Who shall they be trying to hold back? It shall be none other than me, Captain Dane of the 2nd Infantry Division, able company, huzzah, and all that, and don't mind that. That's just one who wants to send me something, although why he never seems to send me an email is beyond me. Anyhow, let's get on with this. Of course, we do have the highly urban nature of the western half of the map, also where most of the fuel will in fact be. Plenty of cut-off points there. The eastern half also has cut-off point, but that is also where most of the victory points are, and most of the munitions. Or at least some of it. Oh, most of it is in fact also in the west. In fact, all the resources are pretty much in the west. East, not so much resources, still some, but not really comparatively. There it's most victory points. And 2 engineers and a rifleman start right here from the Wehrmacht. We are seeing the Wehrmacht quarters coming up. Highly surprising there, not really. Pioneers going about, moving about, securing territory for the fatherland, and the 272nd Grenadier Division. The 272nd would later on be reconstituted as the 272nd Volksgrenadier Division after having been torn apart in Normandy, and would later be sent to fight in the Hürtgen forest, and later on the Battle of the Bulge. So that's a bit of history for you there. Several Grenadier divisions were to be reconstituted as Volksgrenadier divisions, and the remaining survivors of those divisions were used to form the Veteran Corps, which was rather how the Wehrmacht nonetheless also reconstituted old divisions if they had to be rebuilt, and in some cases also made new ones. They set up a corps of veterans to really keep things flowing, and then put up some fresh troops around it. Generally it tended to give some divisions that were able to give a bit more, although in the late, as veterans became rarer and rarer, of course troubles came in keeping that going. MG42 out as the first unit for the 272nd. That's a bit of a rarity, actually. I'm used to seeing either Volksgrenadiers or perhaps a bike, but not an MG42. Now we are in fact seeing a bike coming out, so we'll probably be seeing some bike pushing, and the bike acting as a spotter for the MG42, which is not an entirely bad idea, in fact. And generally also good to have it, is of course as a reconnaissance unit and a bit of a harassment unit. Riflemen doing a bit of sneaking about and harassing themselves. Engineers coming under the buzzer of the MG42. Riflemen setting upon these pioneers, hunting them down. Oh dear, the pioneers are not looking good, but they are getting to safety of this house, and looks like, yes indeed, MG42 moving in. Bike as well. What shall these poor unfortunate riflemen do, knowing that there's an MG42? Well, they'll be sitting up here, and of course be somewhat safe from the MG42, but of course this will of course constitute the bike moves in to make the dreaded bike push, which of course is that it'll basically be moving about and be a bit of a nuisance trying to push my riflemen out of the cover. But for some reason the MG42 is focusing on the ones that are in cover, not the ones beyond, and which ensures that the team will not get suppressed. Further riflemen moving in, taking up position right here on the parapet, providing a bit of covering fire here, and if the bike moves in to push again, it will come under a bit of fire. Of course, this MG42 in light cover is also a bit exposed and is in fact suffering casualties, while these riflemen are in fact tying up most of the Wehrmacht forces currently. Volksgrenadiers moving in, Ersatztruppen in this stage, since this is the Grenadier and not Volksgrenadier Division we're currently seeing, of course, marching in, joining into all of this with firepower and glee. MG42 moving in to set up. Riflemen still holding up on this parapet, being quite the nuisance. 21 moving in. Volksgrenadiers moving into the south, coming into contact with riflemen, getting into the ditch, which seems to be fortunately dry for them. Riflemen taking up positions here, firing away at the Volksgrenadiers. MG42 opening up on the ones in the building. Riflemen on the parapet, firing down on these pioneers, trying to take the fuel point while I am busy seizing about here and there. Pioneers going down, in fact, and we are seeing a Willys Jeep coming out with the 30 caliber machine gun. The only actual 30 caliber machine gun in the game, really, which is actually quite interesting that it's not available as an LMG in some manner for the Americans. Could be interesting. Not the best position for the Americans in this house, mind you. Only one window in this direction, but still enough to tie up any forces, I feel. Flamethrowers trying to get the flank, but of course another MG42 is on the spot, and of course there's this bike making things a lot more difficult. But so far, 2 MG42s, Full Grenadier team and a bike. The Jeep continuing about as well, and nothing out of the Wehrmacht quarters otherwise. Pioneers doing a bit of pioneering in the east, while I'm holding on most tenaciously here in the west, stalling down the Wehrmacht advance and forcing them to expend a lot more resources to take out, well, not so much. Keep doing a bit of covering fire as well. Volksgrenadiers inside this building, riflemen on the parapet firing away. Bike once more forced to get out of there, it seems. Engineers sneaking about, all nice and dandy, although this point has been cut off, which does render all of this not within my control. And of course getting a weapon support center, figuring that a position like this, a highly static one with lots of firepower, is a pretty good spot to get some mortar firing on. And of course if we can get some of those MG42s, that will be absolutely amazing. Bike moving in, doing a bit of recce, and Volksgrenadiers approaching to the pickup truck, and a Panzerfaust goes off, blowing apart the Jeep, sending the ones inside flying. My goodness, but they didn't at least get impaled on this spiky fence. So that's always nice. Volksgrenadiers getting into the postal office, perhaps hoping to find some courage in the mail, who knows, but at least it's still not a bad position, trying to deal with these engineers, and they might succeed, of course, since submachine guns are pretty bad against buildings and the ones inside them. Riflemen in the southern approach getting suppressed. These chaps are still hanging about. MG42 inside this building, not looking too good, and we are seeing a sniper Koenig joining in with his scoped Gewehr 43. Not even 7 minutes into this game, and we've already seen quite a bit of action on all fronts, and now the mortar joins in. Of course, I'm currently unaware of this sniper, although he's doing his best to be, well, not really discreet, running about. But there we go, opening up, taking out one rifleman, but the rifleman might take this fuel point nonetheless, denying it to the Wehrmacht. MG42 opening up, sniper as well. And riflemen probably wishing to get out of that. There we go. Mortar opening up. Pioneers taking quite a few losses. Engineers in a slight danger zone there as the mortar rounds will continue. And one engineer is lost to so-called friendly fire. Sniper takes out another engineer. Engineer decaps this and then gets out of there, not wanting to join his comrades. Mortar firing off a bit, perhaps hoping to get that sniper with one lucky mortar round. Will it succeed or will it not? It certainly is close, but not close enough, in which case it does not count. That one could actually have done it. Pioneers coming under fire from these riflemen, still holding out on the parapet, still being quite a nuisance. MG42 and sniper maneuvering in. And we are seeing a Krieg barracks coming up, but nothing else from Mr. Aspo. Upon Aspo of the 272nd. Sniper standing about, being rather dangerous and roguish. Mortar opening up once more, perhaps hoping to get something this time around. Beyond its own men. Volksgrenadiers coming under fire as they are standing out in the open. Sniper is not looking too good either, but he's quick to get out of there. MG42 inside this house though is coming under heavy fire. One is killed as shrapnel blows through the windows and kills the gunner. And further mortar rounds land down on the ground. Not having much luck with that though. Engineers standing in a sort of blocking positions. Bike moves in. Engineers get sniped. Volksgrenadiers coming under fire.
Germans are seizing territory.
Mortar continues to fire. And the sniper continues to fire as well, but doesn't have luck hitting anything this time. 8 kills so far. Mortar team a bit exposed, will have to retreat. There we go. Engineers marching in with another flamethrower. And these riflemen are still holding out there, although down to 3 men, not looking too good. Engineers continuing to get sniped by this dastardly sniper. And reinforcements are being made ready for the Americans in the base. Riflemen moving out, and we are seeing a rather large force moving in from the North. Pioneers, MG42 and Grenadiers now joining in for the fun. Riflemen on the parapets not looking too good, and in fact they realize this is perhaps the best time to get out there. MG42 once more firing away, lots of MG fire, Grenadiers and everything else. That is fun for him, of course, not so much for me, as I'm the one that has to run through it. Mortar once more opening up, the mortar perhaps being the key to breaking through all of this. And there we go, MG42 team taking quite a bit of fire, but getting out of there, and not getting out of there, in fact just repositioning. Engineer team is lost, and now the mortar position is just hammering away at an empty position. Staghound getting ready though, Rifleman as well, and this Staghound might in fact be turning the tide. Why, you ask? Well, as you might have noticed, he doesn't actually have any anti-tank assets currently, except this pack, which is rather far away from the front line, so he might be able to just turn things around at least briefly, using the shock effect of an armored car suddenly crashing into his lines. And the sniper continuing to snipe away. Sneaky little bugger. T-17 moving in, opening fire on these Grenadiers. Riflemen and engineers once more forced back. Grenadiers continuing to take fire from the T-17 as it advances, crushing the cars beneath its wheels. And the Grenadiers look like they might be wiped out. One left, barely any health left. And this MG42 might also be gone. T-17 though takes fire from the pack and gets out of there, not wanting to suffer the fate of a direct hit through everything and blowing up. So it takes its path across the cow once more. Poor cow. And we are seeing a bit of harassment there. If he can't at least connect it, he can at least prevent I don't get it if I reconnect this territory. Perhaps not an entirely bad idea. Mortar once more setting up, Riflemen moving in, engineers beginning immediately to repair the T-17. MG42 setting up, but might come under fire from the mortar. Not much to actually hold the line currently. Riflemen charging ahead, Volksgrenadiers looking perilously ill. Bike might be lost, in fact. Yes, there we go, bike is out of control. Pack is exposed. Mortar opening up on this MG42 inside the building, as it suppresses the rifleman, which is rather preventing the rifleman from hunting down this pack. In fact, I do believe it's time for a mid-game analysis and a bit of change. And yes, indeed, this is a rather short game. But then again, having shown games that usually lasted about an hour for, well, a few days now, I figured I could get away with something a bit shorter. And for that, I rather had to resort to one of my own games, in this case. Anyhow, what is the current situation? Well, currently it's rather equal, although I'm currently taking quite a beating as well. Not having much luck pushing forward, but my mortar is keeping up the pressure, and I am in fact managing to kill some of his men, constantly forcing them to run back and forth. I'm also holding, well, at least most of the territory, whereas my opponent is still able to hold on quite well, but he's not able to really push forward very well, having only pioneers and then very little infantry otherwise, in which case I can actually usually throw that back and then return to sort of throwing myself at the MGs and trying to sneak about and cause some damage. The sniper here really being the #1 nuisance for me, and of course I'm quite eager to try and kill the bastard. Of course, for Aspo to really push through, he needs some more infantry or perhaps some armor, and then really just apply the pressure in one place, because I can't really hold that back. As you might have noticed, I'm constantly shifting back and forth infantry, getting it suppressed, getting it killed, then running back for reinforcements, and then basically holding out with some engineers and the mortar, and now the T-17, but nothing else beyond that. But at the same time, he doesn't really have the forces to push through that. So in the long run, I might actually have the advantage, thanks to the mortar. He needs to get something else, perhaps a Sturm Armory, perhaps, well, that looked a bit funny, that there. Perhaps a, oh, I don't know, Panzer Command, but he needs something that can actually push the effort, push the fight, and actually get him through things, rather than just hoping for the support units to do the trick and then let the infantry get killed. That's not going to help. And let's get back to the fighting. Rifleman getting quite exposed, but the MG42 is itself not looking too good. Bunker getting upgraded to a medic bunker. Sniper taking quite a bit of fire actually. The ditch not providing much protection for him, and the riflemen are quick back on the feet now that MG42 has been cleared out. Moving in. Pack once more rather exposed. The T-17 sees what might be a break for it if this pack can in fact be cleared out. There we go. Pack is no more, and the T-17 pounces upon its prey, blasting away at these grenadiers, hoping to get a few kills. Sniper opening up from the medic bunker, not really up to the Geneva Conventions, I believe, and he's certainly not a medic. He's not really good at disguising himself as one either, and forced to retreat right through the lane of the T-17. Will he be killed? Apparently no, the sniper does have some incredible luck. T-17 gains veterancy 1, which does make it quite a bit tougher. False Grenadiers moving straight for the pack. Grenadier inside the bunker, only one man left. Of course, if the mortar was to advance and begin opening up on him, it's certainly going to be a bit uncomfortable in there. Riflemen once more reinforcing, so are the engineers, and I might be coming up with something else from the motor pool soon. The T-17 doing a pretty nice job, but still taking quite a bit of fire, and once more she'll have to be repaired. And what is this? My goodness, I'm actually getting a sniper. Personally, I prefer not to use them very often, but then again, sometimes you just need a sniper. And mortar immediately begins opening up on this bunker, realizing, of course, that if I can clear this out, I'm going to, of course, ensure that the rate of attrition on him is that much higher, and, of course, ensure that he isn't able to suddenly reconstitute fresh infantry teams. Once more riflemen and engineers begin moving in. Engineers taking up repairs on this T-17. All nice and good there. Pack setting up on the flank. MG42 as well. Sniper moving up. Not a lot of infantry, though we are seeing the Panzer Command in fact going up. And a hiccup. And registered artillery flying in. And my goodness, huge frame rate drop all of a sudden. Not entirely sure what's going on. This seems to be a bit of a unfortunate My apologies, not entirely sure what happened there. I suppose it was just some sort of bug which can happen, but a quick old tap fixed that. So my apologies, but I do believe that registered artillery completely annihilated one of my infantry teams, but left those flowers completely unharmed. That's certainly nice. And of course that registered artillery caught me completely off guard. The dirt is still bouncing about. Mortar rounds though landing quite nicely right in the middle of everything. Sniper of mine is right in front of enemy lines. That's pretty bad actually. Rifleman getting suppressed, sniper getting out of there. T-17 opening up on these grenadiers. Grenadiers in fact looking rather unhappy at the moment as they are catching on fire and on bits. Rifleman here still hanging on while the mortar continues to blast this bunker. And one MG42 is in fact lost. My goodness. This could certainly be what I need to really press through. And I am getting an anti-tank gun also as well. Not aware, of course, that he has gotten the Panzer Command, and, well, surprise, surprise, that an Ostwind is on the way, but always be prepared rather than be caught off guard. Engineers moving forwards, straight into an MG42, but also a pack, forcing the pack back. Engineers getting in cover behind a turned over log of wood, and looks like this MG42 team might be lost to the fire. Anti-tank gun opening up, and the other anti-tank gun pack as well, neither hitting though. Sniper moving forwards, and this bunker could do with a bit of a blasting. Ostwind is ready, looking rather devious. Could be the thing he needs to break through my lines. Then again, the T-17 does have the white phosphorus round, which could stun the T-17 and cause it to panic, and of course make it a nice target for that anti-tank gun with some nice armor-piercing rounds. Mortar team gaining veterancy 2, all nice and good. There we go, Ostwind on the move, but it is spotted. What shall we do? Oh dear, anti-tank gun moving up. Nice flank, but of course it was spotted, which of course gave my anti-tank gun time to react, and the T-17 stuns it. MG42 rather exposed on the east, while the Ostwind is as well in the west. And final shot from the anti-tank gun. My sniper gets sniped by the German sniper, although it looks like he has lost one in fact. So probably my sniper got it. Anti-tank gun clears out the Ostwind. MG42 in the east lost. Another radio-set artillery barrage going in, going to force me to retreat, and another rifleman team is lost. My goodness. Once more, I'm not entirely aware of what's going on until it's too late, most distressingly. Although once more, it looks like some Grenadiers have been pinned down by a nice strafing run, which also seemed to have done quite a bit of damage overall. T-17 opening up, sniper as well, apparently hoping to perhaps snipe the driver, I'm not entirely sure. And I have sudden... I'll have to... I might suspect this is Fraps acting up. It seems to have a tendency of doing that, which will... but not far to go. Airborne dropping in right into the midst. 101st Airborne. Ready with the M1 carbines. And looks like this Grenadier team might be lost. And the sniper also getting out there and not wanting to face the enraged Airborne. T-17 though continuing its happy work. Ostwind is gone. No, another one is not on the way. In fact, no Panzer IV either, which could also have been quite of help actually. There we go actually. Second Ostwind flak Panzer on the way. Almost the German infantry is well non-existent. Only a few Grenadiers and Volksgrenadiers and a sniper. Everything else has in fact been lost. Most tragically for him. Medic station going up, figuring I might as well try to reduce the rate of attrition myself. Well, they could have done with that a bit earlier. Mortar once more at the front. Anti-tank on getting recruit, having been cleared out probably by that sniper. And airborne sneaking up that German anti-tank gun, but the sniper is on the spot, which is going to make the chance of it getting into safety rather unlikely. And now the Ostwind once more arrives. No further replacements though. And German infantry moving out, quite heavily wounded. T-17 taking a frontal shot, engine is damaged in the process. Mortar rounds and everything else landing amongst the Volksgrenadiers. Grenadiers retreating, and a nice shot clearing out most of the Volksgrenadiers. And could we be expecting a Panzer IV out from the Panzer Command to support the 272nd, who are getting apparently a bit of armor support from the Panzer? No, we are in fact seeing Knight's Cross holders. Bit of a non-existent unit. Let's not dwell on that, although I'm not entirely sure that's what he needs. Although of course they can be quite powerful, having heroic armor, being able to survive 2 sniper shots, and of course having assault rifles. So quite tough buggers. Airborne getting sniped once more. The snipers, as always, being really unlikable. But getting hunted down by the airborne, hoping to knock him out. But the Ostwind wheels in, ready to provide some covering fire. And once more, Volksgrenadiers and Grenadiers moving out, but now with...
Yeah, ready.
Once more, I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Again, my suspicion is it's just Fraps that seems to have been of an acting up at the moment. And suddenly decide it needs a lot more resources than usually. Not much I can do about that, but again, not long to go. And Knight's Cross holders, Grenadiers and Volksgrenadiers marching on the west. Through the east, the sniper, and through the middle, the Ostwind. Knight's Cross charging in. The T-17, they're standing in the way. Mortar rounds landing. Anti-tank gun firing off as well. And through here, riflemen are advancing. But the Ostwind opens up. Anti-tank gun opens up in response with armor-piercing rounds. Knight's Cross holders charging in. Heedless of the danger. Sniper opens up as well. but they are doing quite a bit of damage to the riflemen with their assault rifles and of course their elite armor, knocking out several riflemen, taking all the bit of damage. T-17 kills Grenadiers in the process. And what is this? Another nice crossover team. Airborne marching out once more. Let us return to me just briefly. There we go. Grenadiers forced back. Ostwind advancing slowly, hoping to perhaps deliver the killing blow. Airborne getting ready. Might recruit that anti-tank gun. Knight's crosshole is quite exposed now. One down. Anti-tank gun recruit. Ostwind is in the line of fire and a direct hit. Ammunition is set off, exploding the entire thing, and the sniper now finding himself in the path of the T-17. T-17 opens up and kills the sniper with one shot, leaving behind only a Volksgrenadier team and some Knights crossholders. Not enough. And there we go. At this moment I was actually rather contemplating myself actually giving up, since I felt I was rather close to defeat, but apparently he was as well. And of course that rather leaves one lesson. Sometimes your opponent might just be as close to getting beaten as you are, as you can rather get those sort of situations. So there you go. A rather feisty 1 versus 1 on Egletons. Rather close at times, in particular for me, getting beaten out of the match. So of course, what can we learn from this actually? What is there to be learned? Well, submachine guns and well, machine guns and all other support weapons are nice, but again, without infantry, you're not really able to push through. Whereas I was having trouble with it, at the same time I wasn't able to ensure he couldn't really push through either. And that in the long run did give me some time to, for example, get the T-17 really pushing back a bit, and of course force him to expend even more resources to take back that. The sniper, of course, was quite a pain in the arse. So of course snipers are quite nice if you can use them, although I do prefer not to. Anti-tank guns are of course nice to solve with the Ostwind, is particularly if you have something to support them, like say a T-17 with stun rounds, white phosphorus rounds that is. So that is of course nice, and of course Knights crossholders. However, dashing will not win you a fight, although you might think so, but no. And of course Ostwinds are not a cure-all either. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this fight, and once more, I'm not entirely sure what's going wrong for flaps, and I do apologize. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this fight. If you did, why not subscribe or tell your friends, and if you didn't, well, why not send in a replay of your own? I'm always open to replays, although of course somewhere to 30 to 40 minutes is preferable. Any longer than that, and I can't give any guarantees, then it has to be one hell of a game in one way or the other. And of course, if it's shorter, then can also be shown, although again, if there's a lot of action, then that's great. So cheers.